Hi, today we will see more HTML words and more CSS grammar. Let's create a website which involves a navbar, footer, sidebar and some main content, probably some list of articles. Imagine you are building a news website or some website which involves lots of articles. So I'm going to create a navbar of black color. I want the navbar background to be black color. I want the footer background to be black color as well. I want the sidebar to be in blue color, and in between there will be lots of content or articles, and this color I'm going to give it background white. This will have white color, this will have black color, this will have blue color, and this will have black color as well. And I can enclose the entire thing in a container. I'm going to enclose the entire thing in a container which will have some background color of gray. This will have a background color of light gray probably. You could use div tag for header, for footer, for sidebar and for the main content. And you could give a particular ID. You could give a div tag with a header ID. You could create a footer with a div tag ID footer. You could create a sidebar with the ID sidebar. All this can be div tag. Instead of div tag, we can see alternate HTML tags that are much more meaningful. So I'm going to use header tag here. I'm going to use here. I'm going to use footer tag here. For sidebar, I'm going to use something called aside. ASID, aside. So these are tags that are part of HTML, which makes much more sense. It's optional. If you don't want, you could use div tag. And for the main container, I'm going to stick with something called article. There is something called article tag. This will be under article tag. These are the basic tags that we are going to create. Let's create them in our HTML document. Since my last video, I'm suggesting VS Code Editor. In VS Code Editor, there are plenty of extensions. I like this extension, Live HTML Preview, and when I press Ctrl Q S, I will get a live preview. I'm going to create my HTML file now in my desktop index.html, and this is a basic structure that I'm going to create. And I'm going to create the container div tag which will have all the header, sidebar, the article main content and the footer. So these are just empty. So I'm going to create empty tag, and I've given the ID app for our div tag. Let's see the output. When I press Ctrl QS, I see the preview. Everything is empty, so it's blank. So I'm going to give a heading. So website name, it appears. So I'm going to give sidebar, and now okay. So sidebar is there, and an article. I'm going to create section tag. Section is just like div tag, but it's semantically meaningful. Under section, I'm going to create h1, which says it's a title of it, and there will be a description. So I will create a p tag. Then let's have a button, a like button. I'm going to copy this section and repeat it. So just like assume it's just like Facebook post or some news website articles. And in footer, you see copyright thing that you see normally. And when I do that, you get that symbol. And I'm going to write the style. So let's write it just in our HTML page. So under style, I'm going to apply the style for our app container. I'm going to give the background color to be papaya whip. I like the color papaya whip. So yeah, so now it's applied. So the color is there. Let's give the color for our header tag. For header, I said that I'm going to give black color. If I give black color, the website name thing will be hidden. So I need to give the color of the text. So I can give the color of the text using color white. Now I need to center it. So I'm going to center it using text align center. So everything is center. I'm going to apply the same style for footer. So I change it to footer. Now both are same. Since both of them share the same style, I don't need to write like this. I could instead use this syntax, header comma footer, which means both these things share the same style. Anyway, I'm not going to use it, so let's have separate style for both header and footer. And in header, I don't want the text to be aligned center. I have different plans for header because we need few navigation links like home profile thing on the right side corner. Let's do that. So I'm going to create a nav tag which is much more meaningful, and in nav tag I'm going to create ul, which is unordered list. You could see the preview on the right side. It is coming as home, about, in next line is a bulletin item. So I want to remove that. So let's change the style of ul. I'm going to give list style type none. So that has removed the bulletin thing. And but now both are in the different lines. I need to make it inline. I need to make it in the same line. So I'm going to give the display inline. When I make it display inline, you see that everything comes in the same line. Now I want to align it to the to the right side. I want to make it float to the right side. Let's make the nav block float to the right side. It has floated, but it is messed up still. Let me try floating the h1 to the left side. Oh, it doesn't fix. It has totally messed up. This overflow thing can be fixed using something called overflow. I'm going to make it hidden. Now everything works. So it is flowed to the left and that is to the right. I need to give some margin because for the nav it is a little bit messed up. Okay, now it's good. Margin top. Anyway, I'm going to give margin because I want to apply the margin to every side, because near the about there is no gap. Now there is a gap. So just margin would imply margin top, left, bottom, right. I will make a separate video. You will see that. And for li also, I'm going to give a little bit of padding. Padding is just a gap on all four sides. Now it's much better looking. So home and about, it's much prettier now. And in in h1 also, there need to be a gap on the left side. See, on the website it is still stuck to the left side thing. So I'm going to give 10 px, but there is a problem. When I give 10 px for h1 tag, it is also applied to the h1 of section title as well. You could see that when I do that. See, do you see that? So but I don't want the margin left 10 px applied to the h1, all the h1 tag. I only want it to be applied to the h1 that are part of header tag. So I could specify this syntax called header space h1, which would mean all the h1s which are under header tag, all the child or grandchild or grandchild under head tag will have this style. So I'm going to follow this style and apply it to all the ul. So that so now this would mean apply this style to only ul of nav tag. This is the same thing here as well. It would mean apply the style for all the child of nav and ul. Let's write our sidebar style. So I want the sidebar to be of background color gray. I don't want it to be blue. So let's apply gray. But it's too dark. Let me make it lighter. I'm going to use hex code, and this code is bit specific. And also let me apply padding. So now I have applied the padding 10 px on left, right, top and bottom, and I'm going to make it float to the left. Now it looks much better. And there is an issue with the post that is attached to it. Let's see that later. Now I want to make a margin. I need a gap between the header and the sidebar. So I'm going to give a margin bottom to the header. So there is a margin between the header and the sidebar. So margin bottom. Now let's come back to our sidebar. Inside sidebar, I want to have uh, lots of link. I want to have a list. So inside list, I want to have section, subsection, which an user could click. But I don't like the default style. There is a gap. By default there is a padding. I want to remove that, and also I want to remove that underline thing, which we will see. So I don't want the bulletin thing as before. I want to remove that bulletin thing. So I'm going to say list style type none. Now it is removed. Now there is a gap. That unnecessary gap I'm going to remove. By default it seems like it comes with ul, so I'm going to remove that. I'm going to make it 0. So now it has overridden. Let's change the style of the link. So for the a tag, I'm going to change the text decoration, because I don't like the decoration that is underlined. Let me give text decoration style and see if it works. No, so I think it should be just text decoration. So let me give it just text decoration and it works. And also let me change the color. I don't like this blue. Maybe I will give some other color, teal. So okay, now it works. And there is something called pseudo class. Pseudo class is a class that are dynamically given to the elements. So in this case, whenever an user hovers over a tag, this pseudo class hover is given. So now whenever an user hovers over it, the color will be pale violet red. So the syntax is a colon. So colon is how you define a pseudo class. There are different set of pseudo classes. We will see few, and we rarely use pseudo classes. And let's come back to article. So article is the main section where all the posts are there. I'm giving it overflow hidden. Now without overflow hidden, you see it moves around. Now it looks perfect, a little bit perfect. Now let's style the section. Section is each post. You could say section is each post. I want each post to be distinctive, just like in Facebook, with background white and with some border and with little nice gap. So the background is nice. The background color is white. Let me have a little bit of padding, a gap on all four sides. So I'm going to give it padding 10 px. Now it looks much okay. I want to give a border. So I'm going to give a border of 1 px, which is the width, and then I'm going to say if it is solid or dotted or a different type of border, and I'm going to say gray. If I don't give gray, it will take black, and I don't like gray, so I'm going to give this standard F0 hex code that I like. And also I want to give a margin. I don't want a margin on the top because header already has applied a margin, so I want to apply 0 margin on the top, and on left side and right side of each section I want the margin to be 4 px, and on the bottom I want it to be 2 px. So for if margin has three things, the first thing refers to the top margin, margin top, the second one refers to the left and right, and the third one refers to the margin bottom. I will make a separate video for margin, difference between margin and padding. uh, you could see it. That will be my next video. Coming back, and let's apply the pseudo class again here. So I'm going to say section first child. Let's say if it is the important section, I'm going to make it a border. So first child is a pseudo class that is available for us. Like first child, there is also last child. So I could do last child. If I want to say nth specific child, I could do that. It might be useful when you want to highlight specific like a priority or task. It might be useful. Now just apply hover. It's nice. I like this style, so I'm going to apply the colon hover thing. I'm going to increase the font size of all the h1 tag inside section tag. This would mean all the h1 tag, whether the h1 is the immediate child or the grandchild or the grandchild, it will have the font size h1. The immediate child of section tag here are h1, p tag and button tag. Let me create a div tag which is again an immediate child. Inside the div tag, I will have another h1 tag which is a grandchild of section tag. So this will also have the font size 26 pixel, which is not the expected thing that we want. We want the font size 26 only applied to the immediate h1 heading. We could do that in CSS by using this particular symbol. So when I say section space greater than h1, it would only apply to the immediate child. So in our case h1, this h1 is the immediate child of the section. Let's apply some styling for our footer. So in the footer there is no gap between the footer and the side and the article, so I'm going to give a margin top 10 px. Now there is a gap. Now that looks better. So there is an issue. I want the sidebar to be of full width. I'm going to show you a different way. Instead of saying overflow hidden and all that and float left, I'm going to say the display is table cell. So this is going to make it display just like a table cell. Now you could already see the sidebar is looking like a table cell. Now this article is also looking like a table cell, but the width is not enough. I want the width to be of 100%, so I'm going to say the width of article is 100. Now it occupies all the entire width that is available. So this is another way you could write. And finally, I want to style our button tag. So I'm going to style a button tag with color pale violet red, and I like the color, and I'm going to give a border radius, border with 2px and solid, just like our section tag. So, and also don't want any background. I'm going to make it transparent, and let me give some padding, not margin. I don't want to give margin. I want to give the padding on left and right should be equal, and top and bottom should be equal. So on top and bottom I just want 4 pixel, on left and right I want it 8 pixel, so that's perfect. Now I want to give a border radius, so I'm going to give 3 pixel or 5 pixel. See, you will see the difference whenever I give the border radius. You'll see a little bit on the corners, a change on the corners. So now this is much more rounded. Anyway, I like this border radius. Let's stick with that. So that is button tag, and so far we have completed most of our basic style, intermediate level styles that are available in CSS. I hope you found this video useful. Please like this video and subscribe.